is Miss Oblong, and I am here at my house. This is my daughter's room, Liesel, and it is made to look like a garden, and I thought it would be the perfect place to read you a bedtime story. And to tell you I miss everybody, especially my class and my little sweet angel babies. I hope you are having fun at home with your parents. So I set this up so I could read a book to you, a bedtime story, so you could still feel like I'm a part of your life, because I'm lonely here at home. I do have my daughter Liesel. Liesel, you want to say hi? Say hi. Come over here.
Hi.
That's Liesel. She just turned 4 years old, and this is her bed, and she has her bunny. She's ready for her bedtime story, and I have my turkey. I'm ready for bedtime too. So the first book I'm going to read is a Little House on the Prairie book. We love Little House on the Prairie. So it's called Going West. Do you like Little House on the Prairie? Yes, it's called Going West. Okay. If you're in my class, you know that the author writes the book. The illustrator draws the pictures. Isn't that right? Yes, she said yes. Okay. Once upon a time, a little girl named Laura lived in a big woods in Wisconsin, in a little house made of logs. Laura lived in a little house with her pa, her mom, her big sister Mary, her baby sister Carrie, and their good old bulldog Jack. And there's the pictures. There's Mary and Laura in their log cabin. Aww. Many people had come to live in the big woods. Almost every day, Laura and Mary stopped their playing to look in surprise at a wagon slowly creaking by. Ooh, wild animals would not stay in a place where there were so many people. Pa did not want to stay either. He liked places where wild animals could live without being afraid. He liked to see the deer looking at him from the shadowy woods and the fat, lazy bears eating berries in the berry patches. There's a fat, lazy bear. One long winter evening, Paul told Mom that he was going to take the family to live out west. In the west, there was not many people. There were no trees, and the grass grew thick and high. Wonder what Ma said to that. I wouldn't be happy. So Pa sold the little house in the big woods. He sold the cow and the calf too. Pa made hickory bows and fastened them to the wagon. Ma helped him stretch white canvas over the bows to make a covered wagon for their family to travel in. Then they packed up everything in the little house, except for the beds and the tables and the chairs. They did not need to make these because Pa could always make new ones. That's their covered wagon. Then one morning, before it was even light outside, Ma gently shook Mary and Laura until they woke up. Laura and Mary put on their long red flannel underwear, their wool petticoats and wool dresses, and their long wool stockings. Next, they put on their coats and their rabbit skin hoods and their red yarn mittens. They look warm and cozy. Outside the little house, there was snow on the ground, and the air was still and cold and dark. Through the gray woods came lanterns with wagons and horses, bringing Grandma and Grandpa and aunts and uncles and cousins. Mary and Laura held on tightly to their dolls and did not say a word. Grandma and the aunts hugged them and kissed them, and hugged them and kissed them again, and they said goodbye. Oh, they look a little bit sad, don't they? No, I think they might be a little bit sad. The uncles helped Pa hitch the horses to the wagon. All the cousins were told to kiss Laura and Mary, and so they did. They were leaving for a long time. Then Pa picked up Mary and Laura and set them in the wagon. He helped Ma climb up into the wagon seat, and Grandma reached up and gave her baby Carrie. They were getting ready to go. Off went the wagon, and the little house in the big woods stayed inside the log fence behind the big trees that Mary and Laura liked to play under. And that was the last that they ever saw of the little house. They never went back. The family had a long journey ahead of them, but Paul was on the wagon seat and Jack was under the wagon. Jack was the dog, do you remember? And Laura felt happy knowing they were on their way to another little house on the western prairie. That sounds like a great adventure. And there they are. The end. Yay! Yay! Was that a great story, Lisa? I thought it was a great story because it sounds like they were going on an adventure to a new place to live. So if you've ever moved houses, you probably know what that feels like because it's kind of sad to leave your house, but then it's kind of an adventure to go to a new house. So that is from the Little House on the Prairie books, Going West. Okay, I'm going to read another one because that one was short. Yeah, we're going to read Bunny's Book Club. Bunny's Book Club. Lisa likes this one. We just read it last night, right? Yeah. Okay. And Lisa has a bunny. Show him your bunny. There we go. So he can be in the book club too. Bunny's Book Club. Bunny loved books. There's the bunny right there. He loved them ever since he first heard a lady with red glasses reading outside the library. Our librarian is named Miss Broussard. I don't think she has glasses. Does she have glasses? She has long hair. She's very nice and she likes to read. As he listened, Bunny imagined himself climbing mountains and captaining ships and ruling a kingdom. He liked to listen to adventure stories. But when the summer ended, story time moved back inside, and Bunny wasn't sure if animals were allowed in the library, but Bunny was sure he couldn't live without books. Do you think animals were allowed in the library? Lisa doesn't think so. I don't think so either. I don't think Miss Broussard would let animals in the library, do you? I don't think so either. You've never met her, but I have. I don't think she would. Night after night, he could hardly sleep for wishing. He had to do something. So with a flashlight in his paws and a hope in his heart, Bunny jumped out of bed and tiptoed through the dark. There he is. He got out of bed and he's tiptoeing through the dark. Where do you think he's going, Lisa?
I don't know.
Where do y'all think he's going? I think he's going to find some books because that's what he was dreaming about. But when he reached the library door, it was locked. So were the windows. Bunny tried digging and climbing and yanking, and nothing worked until he finally noticed he's trying to break in. You shouldn't try that at all. The book returned. A shiny handle was far above his head, but it was no match for the high-hopping bunny hungry for books. So there's the book return. That's where you open it and you put your books in when you want to return it for like a public library. Bunny leapt. He clung to the bar and he flung himself over and got his cottontail through the slot. He landed inside with a thud. There he is inside the library. Is he supposed to be in there? No, I don't think he is. It's after dark and it's closed. Bunny's eyes sparkled at the sight of the shelves bursting with books. It was better than a field full of fresh, crunchy carrots. Bunny didn't know where to start. He took a deep breath. It smelled as if he were wrapped inside the pages of his favorite book. He followed his nose to the adventure section. He found stories about pirates and sharks and superheroes, and Bunny greedily grabbed them all. He wanted all the books. What are you supposed to do when you get books out of the library? Do you know? Lisa doesn't know, but I know because I've been. You're supposed to check them out with a library card. I think in our school library you use your ID and it scans it. Beep! and then it knows you have the book. His whiskers twitching with excitement, he slipped his treasures through the book slot one by one. Then, performing his best balancing act, Bunny wobbled home. He couldn't wait to dig in. There he is, trying to take, he did take all the books home. And so Bunny returned to the library each night. He searched and he sneaked and he scurried back to read. Soon his home was more books than burrows. Then one evening, a loud knock startled Bunny like this. Who do you think it is? A porcupine, let's see. He closed his book and opened the door. Where have you been? Asked Porcupine. How did you know it was a porcupine? We read it yesterday, and a porcupine's in the picture. So, okay. I've been reading, said Bunny. Why? Said Porcupine. Bunny's eyes popped wide open. Why? He said. Have you ever been to the library? It was time for Bunny to let Porcupine in on his secret. Are you sure this is a good idea? Said Porcupine. Calm your quills, said Bunny. I'm too prickly. I'll never fit. Bunny pushed and shoved until pop with the porcupine. Bunny slipped and flipped on his flashlight. Whoa, said Porcupine. I know, said Bunny. Do you think there's a story about balloons? I've always wondered about balloons. Most definitely, said Bunny. So there they are, trying to get in. Then they got in. Sure enough, Porcupine found books on balloons and on deserts and dunes and caterpillars and cocoons. And when Bunny handed him one about hedgehogs, he hugged it. He loved that book so much. The two friends took turns cramming books out the slot. Their towers teetered so high they could barely carry them. Back at Bunny's, they cozied up with cups of tea and carrot muffins. Together, they read until sunrise. One night, Bear noticed the light on at Bunny's, and he opened the door and tripped over a stack of books. There's the bear.
I don't see the bear.
Right there, he's tripping over the stack of books. What's going on? Said Bear. Here, said Bunny, handing him a book. Bear made room and settled in to read. Soon, more curious animals began visiting. Do you have any books about outer space? Said Bird. Or volcanoes? Or a ghost story? I think it's time for a field trip, said Bunny. So Bunny's going to take all of his friends to that library. They all want to read and find out stuff. They're curious. One by one, the animals stuffed themselves inside the library. Bear caused a bit of delay. They scattered about, sniffing the stacks and pawing the pages. Squirrel gathered stories about a circus, and Raccoon nabbed one about outlaws and bandits. Frog found a fairy tale. You think he found Princess and the Frog? That would be a good one for him. No one heard the key in the front door. No one heard the clack, clack, clack and footsteps. And no one heard the light flick on. Who do you think's coming in the library, Lisa?
The library.
The librarian.
The library.
Miss Broussard. What do we have here? Said the librarian. The animals looked up in shock, and Bunny gasped. Follow me, she said. The animals marched slowly behind her. We're done for, said Porcupine. All libraries have rules, said the librarian. Bunny's whiskers trembled. Porcupine's back bristled, and Bear eyed the door. Bunny stepped forward to take the blame. The librarian leaned forward. What do you think she's going to do?
Give him a card.
Give him a library card. The first rule is every book lover must have one of these, she said. She handed Bunny and his friends a shiny new library card. Now you may borrow books, she said, as long as you return them, of course. Bunny couldn't believe his ears. They could keep coming to the library. He beamed at his fellow readers. Then they bounced to the shelves. He picked the perfect book. He proudly checked out one very first official selection for the Bunny Book Club. Look at all the animals reading. They made a book club. The end.
Yay.
Did you like that book, Lisa? If you like that book and hearing stories from Miss Oblong, your favorite pre-K teacher at T.H. Watkins. You can tune in every night at 8 o'clock and I will be reading bedtime stories. So Lisa, come on. Come tell them bye-bye.
Bye.
You gotta get closer than that. Say
Bye.
bye.